providing resources for emergency preparedness YouTube video. I want to thank you all for watching. This week I'm posting an extra bonus video. I'm going to do a simple egg bake that I normally make for my family for breakfast. So let's get started by showing you the ingredients you're going to need. The first ingredient you're going to need is some parsley. You can use fresh or dehydrated. Today I'm using dehydrated. You're going to need some organic milk, a small amount of extra virgin olive oil, some pepper, kosher salt. Salt is always kosher in my house. Hungarian paprika. You're going to need a little butter, some cheese. I use sharp cheddar cheese. I use cheese that is white. I don't believe in the orange cheese. I use natural organic cheese. Okay. And you're going to need a nice russet potato, organic onion, and 1 clove of garlic, and 4 eggs. So let's get started on what else we're going to need. My oven is already preheated to 350 degrees from the last item we baked, which was the blueberry muffins. So let's talk about hardware. I got a 8-inch skillet here. I have a bowl and a whisk for whipping it up. I have a grater for my cheese. I have 2 cutting boards, one for my potatoes, one for my cheese. Paper towel so I can wrap the potato up in, a potato grater, and a bowl of water. So let's get started because this dish is really easy to put together. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up my potato. Alright. This is a nice organic potato. So how I cut up my potato is I put it on my cutting board and I spin it like this. Then I get my ends and I flip it over and I get my other end. Sorry for the noise in the video. But this is baking. This is cooking. It's not pretty. Okay. Make sure I got everything off. All my eyes. Alrighty. I'm going to give that a slice because I'm going to take out that whole section. Alrighty. So now I am done with this part. So I just fold this up and I toss this right in the garbage. So I tossed that in the garbage and I placed my potato in some water while I was doing that. And I'm going to empty that out. And now I'm going to cut up my potato. And I have a nice Woolstock Santuco knife here. And I'm just going to slice it through, holding it, because I want it to be as even as possible. You want to keep your hands out the way because these Woolstock knives, they are no joke. They will take your fingers off. These things come out super sharp. So I divide it in half like that, and I want my pieces to be even. So I do it in thirds again. Alright. And I just cut them in small dices. Perfect for that one. Give my board a flip. No need to get fancy. I'm not Emerald Lagasse, so I'm just going to cut through that and cut these potatoes in dices. And 1 potato is more than enough for 4 people. So, but I'm going to use 1 potato because we like a lot of potato in this dish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my potatoes in here. And I actually want to dry them because I want them to brown. Ready? I'll be right back. I'll grab some paper towel. And I want to dry my potatoes. I want all that water to come off my potatoes. Ready? So, we're all done with that part. Alrighty. So while my potatoes are drying, and I'm going to put them right here so if any additional water drain off, they can go in there. So while my potatoes are drying, I'm going to wash my hands real quick. So I wash my hands real quick from that potato. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to get my cheese shredded and cut. So I'm going to bring this cutting board over. And like I said, I use this nice organic cheese that's just made with cheese curd or whatever, however they make it. But it doesn't have all that orange dye in it. You know, I want my cheese to be cheese. I don't want all the dye. You know how you see people make macaroni and cheese out of the box? And I can always tell when macaroni and cheese is out of the box because it's that bright orange neon color. That's not cheese. So I got 3 good chunks right there. But then I'm also going to shred some for the top. So I got a hand grater right here. And I'm just going to shred up a little bit for the top. That's more than enough. Cut that off. Alright, get the rest from underneath. That's good to go. And then the rest of the cheese that you saw me cut up these 3 slices, I'm going to put these into cubes. So just like with my potato, I'm going to cut them like this so they can be even. Ready? And then I'm going to cut them into cubes. Now all this cheese might not make it in the skillet, but it will get ate. So, my daughter is a cheese lover, and she is holding that camera, and she will tear up what I have left over. Alrighty. That's more than enough cheese for that dish. Alrighty. Maybe 2 slices next time. Alrighty. So my cheese is done. My potatoes are ready. So the next thing I want to do is I want to turn on my stove top. And I want to put it on 4. And in my pan, I'm going to add a little butter and a drop. And when I say drop, I really mean a drop of olive oil. Good enough. Alright. Now while my butter is melting, I'm going to start whipping up my egg mixture here. Okay. So while my butter is melting, I'm going to cut up my onions. I'm going to grab another cutting board. Alright. So I have a multitude of cutting boards. And you should too. Hopefully you have more than 1 cutting board in your kitchen because you're going to need them. So next, I'm going to cut up a slice of my onion. And I don't need this whole onion. I use part of this onion for something else. So like I said, this recipe is not an exact, 3/4 cup, 1/4 cup. When I'm baking, I'm very exact. When I'm cooking, it's a little of this and a little of this. So this looks like enough to me. So that's how much I'm putting in there. So got my onion, and I'm going to dice it up. Ready? You want small dices in this egg dish. This is a breakfast dish. So, and these are organic onions, so they're very strong. So if you see a grown woman crying on YouTube, that's just because she used organic onions. I think some of the other onions, they have somehow made them where you don't cry as much. But these puppies here, oh my God, they're strong. Okay, and I only used a little piece, so that's about as much onion as you need, and all that might not make it into the pan. So my butter is melted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it down, and I'm going to add my potatoes. And it splashed on me a bit. And I'm going to immediately give those a zhuzh. Because I want that butter, I'm going to turn on my fan for a second. I want that butter to coat each potato. Ready? then I'm going to add some pepper. And again, this is to taste. It's not exact. And I'm going to add a little kosher salt. Again, to taste. Not an exact. But this is 1/4. So I'm going to say 1/4 kosher salt. I'm going to say a half because I want to add one more. Alrighty. So I'm going to let the salt and the pepper cook in. And I'm going to keep working my potatoes around till they get brown. Okay. And I'm going to turn that fan off because that noise is probably getting on your nerves in the background there. Alrighty. Alrighty. And I've turned my stove down to 3. So I really want these potatoes to cook and get browned up. Alrighty. So my next item I'm going to do is while that's browning up, try to even that back out a bit, I'm going to cut up my green bell pepper. So this is an organic green bell pepper. And I know I'm not going to use this whole thing. So I'm going to set that part to the side. Take off the white part. I'm going to sliver that off. And I've already rinsed it off. And I'm going to use that. And I'm going to use about that much. Because again, it's not exact. And again, with the fingers and these Woolstoff knives, you want to keep your fingers out the way. These Woolstoffs are expensive, but they are some really good knives. You buy these knives once, and you're not buying any more knives for the rest of your life. You're just sharpening it at that point. So then I'm going to cut up my green bell pepper. And all of this might not make it into the pot, but we'll see. So I want to come back over here and focus on my potatoes again, because I don't want them sticking. Okay, alrighty. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here to my green bell pepper. And I'm going to finish getting those cut up small as I can. And you don't want them minced, you just really want them cut up. And I like this breakfast dish because it's healthy. It has a lot of good healthy stuff in it, like the onions, the green peppers, the garlic, the organic cheese, the healthy organic eggs. And I'm going to come over here, I'm going to take that off because I don't want that. And I'm going to add these onions and green peppers to the skillet. And I used all of it. Alrighty. Now I'm going to work that in. The potato doesn't want to stay in the pan. And I'm going to add just a pinch more butter. I definitely don't want this thickened. I'm going to move that knife so I don't cut my camera person. She'd probably prefer if I wouldn't cut her. So I'm going to continue to let that brown up. Those potatoes, those onions, green peppers. You say, Lillian, I thought your channel was about baking. It is. This is going in the oven. So that qualifies. If it eventually winds up in the oven, it qualifies. So I'm going to let that cook up. Everything's cooked now. While that's going, I'm going to work on my garlic next. And this is Matisse garlic. My garlic is frozen, so you'll see that it's pretty hard. I should have let it sit out a bit. But what I do is, last year I bought a crop share of onions, garlic, shallots, and they gave me a variety of garlic. They also gave me a variety of onions, I had all kind of onions. I had flat onions I had never seen before, but when we cook with those onions, they had so much flavor. And this particular garlic is called Matisse garlic, and it came from Deer Creek Farms here in Minnesota. And I also had some red garlic, some purple garlic. It was wonderful. And I'm still using a lot of that today. So I'm going to add this garlic to my skillet. Okay. Get that wool stuff out the way. And I'm going to continue to toss my ingredients. Alrighty. So in here we have our potatoes, our onions, our green peppers, and some garlic, and a little salt and pepper. Alright. So that's all done. So the next thing I want to do is I want to add my organic eggs to my bowl. And I always use organic eggs. You can use the regular kind, but you really should get in the habit of trying to eat healthier and better, which I'm trying to do, and also try to eat more organic so you know what's in your food. Alright, so I got my 4 eggs here, and I'm going to add those to this bowl. And I'm going to add some pepper. Yes, I know I added pepper to the potatoes, but you want flavor. Don't be afraid to season your food. Alrighty. And then I'll put the peppercorns in the annotations. You want some kosher salt. And again, it's estimated about that much. I think that was 1/4 teaspoon. And I'm going to add some parsley. And like I said before, it can be dehydrated or fresh. I'm using dehydrated. And that's 1 teaspoon. I'm going to come back and check on my potatoes one more time, because you want those to soften up and brown up. And I still got my temperature on 3. I turned the fan off so that you won't hear that background noise. Already smells awesome. Okay, so I got my salt, my pepper, my parsley. And I have this nice little cup measure. It helps you measure teaspoons and tablespoons. So I want to put in about 2 tablespoons of organic milk. Okay, that's about 2. If it's a little over, it ain't gonna hurt. And you want to give this a whisk. So you give that a whisk. Alright, good enough. I'm going to come back, check on my potatoes one more time. And they look like they're starting to brown up. So now I'm going to add the final spice, which is some Hungarian paprika. And you want good quality spices and herbs. I'll talk about that in a lot of my videos. See how red that paprika is? That's good quality Hungarian paprika from Penzi Spices. Alrighty. And about that much. That's about 1/4 teaspoon. And you want to work that in. And I didn't put it at the beginning because paprika tends to burn if you put it at the beginning. At least I find it does. So I put it at the end when I'm getting closer to where I want my dish to be, when I'm sauteing like this. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to turn the heat up on this a bit just because I want to get the pan hot, because I'm about to add the egg mixture. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. So now I'm going to give my egg mixture a whisk again. And I'm going to go grab my cheese cubes from earlier. And I'm going to drop those in. right into the egg mixture. Alright, and I'm going to give my potatoes a stir because I don't want them to stick or burn. Alrighty, get back in there. Alright, and I'm just going to whisk the cheese on this egg mixture. Okay? Alright. So I'm done with that. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this right in here, but I'm going to turn the stove off. I'm going to give this a little mix, a little toss, even out my potatoes. So each person gets a little bite of potato. And then I'm going to pour my egg mixture in with my cheese. And I'm going to even out my cheese distribution as well. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. Alright, and I'm going to place this in the oven for 25 minutes. I'm going to place this in my oven for 20 minutes. At the end of the 20 minutes, I'm going to come back, sprinkle some cheese on top, and then put it back in for like 2 minutes, take it out, and show you how we finish it. Hi, welcome back. It's been about 25 to 30 minutes. So we're going to take our skillet omelet out of the oven and let it rest for another 5 to 7 minutes. Alright. We have our omelet out of the oven. It's pretty firm, but we want to give it an opportunity to set up a little bit. So I'm just going to leave it alone, let it rest, and we're going to cut this up and enjoy it with our blueberry muffins we made earlier today. Thank you for watching another Providing Resources for Emergency Preparedness YouTube video. Visit our website at www.providingresources.com. Follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook.